You can ring Doug's bell. Ring Doug's bell. Doug's bell. Ring Doug's bell. You can ring Doug's bell. Ring Doug's bell. Doug's bell. Ring Doug's bell. Welcome to the Doug Bellcast. And now, here is your host, the star of Ring My Bell, Doug Bell. Doug Bell, Dougie Bell. Welcome to the Bellcast. You know, a lot to talk about. I didn't even plan on doing this one. Excuse me. I was it's driving me crazy. Sun was beating down on my head before, and it just feels like my head is like itch central. I think I have dandruff. But anyway, I'm doing this. I'm flipping through the TV before, you know, change the channel. I get the remote. It's like a remote. Like you don't even got to get up. You just sit there on the couch. Boom, boom. You know, I'm changing the channel, flipping back and forth. Hey, what do you want to watch today, Bell? I don't know. Like, you know. And I pass up, and the Devil Wears Prada's on. Devil Wears Prada. And the people say it's Prada, but it's not. It's Prada is the correct pronunciation. And I was an extra in that movie. Like, I don't talk about it because, again, it was a weird time because this was like 2006. So it was like not too long after Ring My Bell. Like, they're so afraid we were going to take over the network. And they told us they weren't bringing us back, and it was crazy. And I got like, I threw a chair through a window. I can't even get into it because it was like a lawsuit. Because it was one of those like bring your kid to work day, but I didn't know, so I threw a chair through the window, and one of the kids is skipping down the street in the hallway and steps in glass. Like it was a whole mess. I had to apologize. But again, you know, back then I was a wildman, just a wildman during the day. So anyway, they're like, you know, they're like looking for some celebrity extras on Devil Wears Prada. So I go, yeah, I'll do it. What else am I doing? You know, like I'm going to show CW. Like, so I'm on a set, and you know, it's funny. Emily Blunt, you know, you guys know Emily Blunt, and I had such a good time with her because I play like a guy in the office, and they didn't give me any lines, because again, they know, like, if you're going to have a celebrity kind of coming in doing like lines, I'm going to steal the scenes. Like, they're probably afraid of that. And it was like Emily Blunt, Meryl Streep. Meryl Streep is really good. Annie Hathaway's in that one. And so anyway, I'm like, yeah, I'm just an office guy pushing the mail thing, right? So the first day, I'm like, you got to stand out. You got to stand out. So I show up, you know, and I wear a shirt. It says, bring back Ring My Bell. Bring back Ring My Bell. So director, you know, like they stop the scene, they go, cut. He says, what are you doing? I go, no, but it's just a social message that I want your people to rally and help bring back Ring My Bell. And everybody's kind of looking right now. So I start telling, and you know, like I say to Merle, I go, Merle, you're like, you understand what it's like to get like screwed up, right? And then she kind of walked out of the room. But the director told me, you can't wear that shirt. So, they got to take a break. I got to go back to costumes. And I picked out, it was so, I'm like, because again, I'm going to make this like a good scene. Because the scene was a little lame. I even told the director, like, this is a slow scene. So I pick out an electric blue dress, and I show up in that. Costume lady's like, I don't know. I'm like, hey, they told me to do it. You know what I mean? I'm feeding her the old, you know, I'm putting her on the old bell hook. Give me, you know what I mean? I get the old bell. Whoa. You know, bringing her back. So I show up in the electric blue dress. The guy he's holding the mic, the boomer. oh, I can see his face. He wants to crack up, but he's like, he doesn't know. Like, is this, because it's so political out there. He's like, is this going to be like a whole, did Merle tell him to do it? Is this like an Annie Hathaway thing? So I show up. I'm wearing the electric blue dress, and I call this scene. I go, everybody in the places, you know what I mean? I got a couple of the other extras cracking up. Merle comes back in, and I'm like, all right, Merle, don't make no mistakes this time. I'm just being fun. And again, I had a couple belts at lunch, you know what I mean? I had a little flask in my pocket, which I had to take out when I did the electric blue dress, but it was crazy. Because when I walked in, I had the flask and a thigh high underneath the dress. I was gonna do a couple toots in between like takes, because Annie Hathaway is like notorious for like messing up her lines. So it's so crazy. I'm sitting there, right? I walk into like a blue dress. I'm like, everybody in their I think I said everybody called their places. I think I said called their places because I was I wasn't sober. Now I'm directing the movie, and director comes over, and I'm like, I'm like, because I had a line that I thought would be really funny. I thought I should say like, as I walk in, this director comes over. I'm like, before you say a word, trust me. I had the bell with me as always. I go up. I go, how about this? I'm gonna walk by pushing the mail thing while they're doing a scene, and I'm gonna look in with the blue dress. I'm gonna go, hey, at least it's Prada. I'm gonna keep going. It'll be like a huge laugh in the theater, and they can go like, what the hell's this guy about? But the director comes over and goes, I'm gonna fire you. I go like, what? And he goes, you don't know what you're doing here. I don't know what this is, but you got to go home. And I go, why? Because the dress. And I'm not proud of this, but he goes, yeah, you're wearing that dress. And I go, the costume lady told me that's what you wanted. That's what she told me. I'm not proud of that I did that. I'm not proud of that at all. I did that because they questioned her, and she's like, you told me. And I pointed, and I'm like, you're lying. I'm like, why would I do it? Because again, this is right after Ring My Bell, so I needed something to push me back into the mainstream. I should even take this part out because she quit the business after that. She went really downhill. She got pregnant by some guy who wound up in jail, like whole thing. So they had to get like a new costume person. Like I shouldn't even say, I should probably take that out. Let me just come back. So the director comes over and I go, yeah, I'm going to come right back. All right, note to Bell. Make sure you take that, because that's legal stuff. Because she got fired, she lost all her benefits. You gotta have your bennies. She didn't get her bennies. So what happened? I'll come back with the director part. Like walking in, director's there, comes up. I go, I got a line for you. I'm just gonna go, hey, at least I'm wearing Prada. Keep going. Boom. All right. And so director makes me change. So whatever, I put on, hey, you want me to be, you got like a guy like myself. I'm like, you ever see Ring My Bell? And he's like, look, we got to go. What are you doing? So I put the old boring office boy outfit on, like, office guy. I even came back and I said to people, I would never wear this, because it was this pretty girl. She's playing a secretary. I'm like, I would never wear this. And she goes, nah, whatever, Bell, I got you. So anyway, we do the scene, blah, blah, blah. And I'm in a couple more scenes, right? So I say to Merle, I'm like, I see her. She's walking to the trailer. She's on the phone. I'm like, Merle, get over here. Give Belle a second. She looks around like she's looking. I don't know who she was looking for, but it was just me and her. So I'm, Merle, get over here. I go, Doug Bell, damn glad to meet you. I show her the bell. I'm like, boom, boom. And I probably was a little bit, because I'm like, I don't know if you heard, but CW fucked me. CW fucked me good. And she gets like uncomfortable. And I'm like, don't worry, I'm not going to go crazy and wreck the set. But I said to her, and then we went over, she's like, I got to go. She's walking, boom. She doesn't want to get involved because she's like, oh, Christ, Belle's going to go in there and talk to the director. And she's probably afraid of getting fired. Like if I did anything like, whatever, crazy. So we walk, I'm following Streep, me and Meryl walking. I'm telling her, like, I even said to her, I'm like, at one point I grabbed her shoulder and I go, look, that Sophie's Choice thing, like, God, that must have been so hard for like a mother to choose between their children. Cause like one of the babies is gonna die. I told her, I said, no bullshit, Meryl. I cried watching that movie. I told her that too. I'm like, you're such a fucking good actress. Like, you don't get the credit you deserve. I told her that. I'm like, you're so underrated, Meryl. But anyway, we walk over to Annie Hathaway. She's like, look, I got to go in and talk to Annie. Trust me, because Annie and I, she was one of the people I saw smiling when I came in with the electric blue dress. She's like, what the hell is this guy doing? So I walked over and I see Annie Hathaway in there. She had a big trailer. I see the size of her trailer. I walk in. And I go, I just want to check out the size of your trailer because I like a fucking, what's that fuck, the honey wagon? I said, what is that? I shouldn't have probably said this, but again, I was a little, 2 bells to the wind. I was a couple bells to the wind, believe me. Maybe even 3 by this point because it was after lunch. And I go to her, I asked to use her bathroom because I said to her, like, I'm like, Annie, I said, you got to understand something. That honey wagon stinks in here. Like, I said, the honey wagon's no good. And I did some kind of joke, like, craft services food right through me. And, Meryl smiled, So I walk in, I use the bathroom. And I'm in there probably 20, 25 minutes because I like to take my time when I do that. I don't like to, I want to talk about a bunch of bathroom talk. But when I go, I like to really take my time. But in a trailer, the bathrooms are weird because they don't have a flusher. You step on under the floor. There's like a little thing you step on, like a gas pedal, and it opens up the little hole into it, and all the shit and the piss and the tampons, whatever. We got to cut that, put like beeps. Falls into the hole, and then it closes back up. So anyway, I do that, right? But it won't open up. There's something wrong with it. You step on it and the thing won't open up. So I just got like, it was a buku amount. It was like 2 or 3 days I was on Vicodin because I had hurt my knee. I was doing jumping jacks outside this girl's job trying to make her laugh. And I hurt my knee and I was on Vicodin. So I'd been constipated. So I had to, well, I don't want to get too graphic, but I'm in Annie's trailer. I got a plastic glove. I had to go in there and work around a little bit. So it was unpleasant. Anyway, it was piled pretty good and the thing wouldn't open. So I'm yelling through the door. I'm like, Andy, you got a plunger? I'm like, it's not, it is what it is. It's like nature, So I'm asking Annie Hathaway for a plunger. I don't hear nothing. Right. So I wipe up, boom, I do my business. I found out after I made a terrible mistake that I don't want to say it. I closed the lid and I threw a couple of the wiped papers on top of the lid. Like I didn't know. I was a little, and she wasn't answering about the plunger question. So I was a little bit pissed off. I'm like, all of a sudden she forgets like who she is. So I wind up, I threw the lid had closed and I threw a couple pieces of the dirty paper on top of the lid. And I balled them up and threw them on top. It was a mistake though. I just panicked God. I didn't mean to do it. So I come out and I see Merle sitting there with Annie and they're looking at each other, looking at the script, boom. And there's a couple of security guys there. So I'm like, hey, which is good because I'm like, hey, compadre, I gotta get a plunger in there. There's a mistake. And he goes, you're gonna have to come with me. So I'm like, I don't know where we're going. But it was so frustrating because I walk out with him and I'm like, look, the toilet's busted. You gave her a bad trailer. Plus her trailer was bigger than mine. I was so fucking pissed. Her trailer was bigger than mine. I think I said it too loud too. I'm like, why the fuck does she get a big trailer? Maybe I should have done that better. But I seen as I'm walking, I see Emily Blunt, you know, and I love her. I'm cracking her up too because I keep pretending to get her name wrong. I'm like, wait, what's your name? Is it Emily Reefer Sticks? And there's Emily Reefer Sticks. Hey, Emily Chiba. I'm doing like this, you know. I'm like, hey, it's Emily. Yeah, I'm doing that to her as the security guys are walking me back to the honey wagon because I had my day bag in the honey wagon, which I thought was like a really poor showing. But I said it to Emily Blunt. I'm pointing at her. I'm making all these like drug jokes, and I go in there and I tell her. I even yelled to her. I'm like, hey, if you got to take it, you know, you got what I said to her. I said, if you got to drop some stew, don't do it in Annie's joint, you know, because she had the busted toilet. But you'd think like an A-lister celebrity, they would get like a better trailer toilet for. But anyway, they wanted the director calls me in and he goes, you got to go. Security walked me out and I'm like, what the fuck? Because I had a funny idea too. I go like, I don't know what the problem is. I'm like, he goes, you're bothering. I'm like, I'm not bothering anybody. I'm like, did they say that? I'm like, let's get Meryl in here right now. Get her in here right now. Get Annie in here. I'm like, right now you should go out there. You could see Emily. And I probably should have done this, but like I'm, you know, maybe Bell's the mayor, fucking crazy now. You know, because I was coming off ringing my bell, and I'm firing all cylinders. So I go to him. I go, and if you want to see, excuse me. I go, if you want to see a smile, go out there and fucking look at Emily Mary Jane. I tell you something, Mary Jane. I go, yeah, blonde. And I do like I had the bell. I go, you know, like like I'm smoking some cheap, you know. Yeah, it was fun. I had such a funny idea too, but whatever. He didn't want to hear it. That movie bombed anyway. Like you probably don't even remember Devil Wears Prada if you ever heard of it. But Meryl was nice, but Annie Hathaway didn't say too much. And Emily Blunt though was loving it. She was cracking up. She looked at me too. It was kind of weird. She's walking by like, is this guy? I know this guy. And that might have been another, because I think she had a boyfriend at the time. So maybe her boyfriend got like involved with the director and said, hey, this Bell character, you know, that's the last thing we need is her running out of here, going to have supper with him or whatever, hanging. I don't know. But that's true story. It's funny, man. If you watch, you can see me in the back. They did a few takes too before they finally, again, they got rid of me because I was stealing the scene. I was moonwalking through the back, boom, boom, boom. Like they're doing this one scene where they're talking. I'm supposed to walk by with the mail cart. And I walk by and I'm like doing the weird break dance. And, you know, it's just, I'm all over the place, boom, boom, boom. You know, it's just kind of like, you know, because I used like to, I would dance a little bit back then. Like I was joking, but like I could actually, you know, if I had to groove a little. But whatever, I did a bunch of stuff walking by the door, and they like vetoed all of it. Like that, it was so fucking stiff, man. It was such bullshit. They just threatened. But anyway, listen, man, I just wanted to get that off my chest because I forgot. And you know, if you see the Devil Wears Prada, man, I would write to him and complain. Where the fuck is Bell? More Bell. Like that should be the criticism. But no one cared. But I told Meryl Streep how underrated she was. She loved it. She loved it because no one says anything to her. They're all afraid of her. I'm not afraid. Listen, this has been really this feels good to kind of like just tell you guys what Hollywood is about. So you just keep letting me know who you want to hear about, and I'll fucking, you know. Anyway, fly wild and stay gold. You can ring Doug's bell. Ring Doug's bell, Doug's bell, ring Doug's bell. You can ring Doug's bell. Ring Doug's bell, Doug's bell, ring Doug's bell.